up? So I appreciate all the feedback I've gotten with my heat train videos. So for this one, I just wanted to do really quickly 3 major pros and 3 major cons of heat training, and then some tips that I can give you if you want to start. And if you're contemplating whether or not you want to heat train your hair, you're thinking about it but not really sure, put your
Reeboks on, I just do it.
Even though that's the slogan for Nike, but hey. And as I've mentioned in previous videos, I've been heat trained since I was 6, so I've learned a lot from getting it done by a professional to learning how to do it myself. And just to be clear about the definition of heat training, it's using heat directly to help loosen up the curl pattern over time. So you can use blow dryers, flat irons, hot combs, etc. So the first pro is that there's less tangles. So during the wash process, it's very easy to wash your hair and also condition your hair without it being too hard to manage. Number 2, because there are less tangles, there are less single strand knots. Because your hair is in a straightened state, it's less likely to wrap around itself and create knots. And my favorite pro is that because of these things, contrary to popular belief, your hair can grow. All right, now for cons. So it will eventually permanently change your curl pattern. Now, I've always had very tight wavy hair, and throughout heat training, the waves just loosen up. Number 2, you can completely damage your hair if you're not doing it correctly and completely lose your curl pattern, which I have learned the hard way, and I am slowly cutting off my heat damaged hair, but it is very possible if you don't do it correctly. Now, something I want to make clear about heat damage, because a lot of people believe that if you heat train your hair, you are heat damaging your hair. I do not completely agree with that. It's only if you do it incorrectly. But just because you alter the state of something does not mean that you have damaged it. Okay, and then just quickly my tips of things that I've had to learn the hard way about heat training hair. All right, the first thing I recommend is going to a hairstylist who knows about heat training and learning from the stylist what specifically needs to be done for your particular hair in order to keep it healthy and growing. I would say go to that stylist for as long as you can until you feel like you're ready to take on the task yourself. But have them recommend the products they think you should use, to how often you should do your hair, to the styling tools that they recommend personally for you. Then you want to make sure you never flat iron dirty hair, because that will cause more damage. Next, I would suggest that you invest in a very good quality flat iron, one that is preferably ionic and ceramic. But when I straighten my hair on the day I need to straighten, what I like to do is not pass through the sections too many times. So let's pretend this is my flat iron. What I'll do is, because my roots are the waviest, I like to press down a little bit, go over for a second time, and then sometimes if I feel like it needs one more pass, then I'll do it one more time, and then I'll bring the flat iron to this point, then I'll let it go, and then I bring it back to the middle, and then I bring it all the way down to the end once. So that way I'm not putting too much heat on my ends, putting a little bit more heat here because it's still not as fragile as this point, and putting a lot more heat at the roots because it is the most natural. Now, another tip that people generally say is that you should use the lowest heat setting as possible for your hair. I recommend you use the heat setting that you know will keep your hair straight for at least a week. Just because you use it on the lowest heat setting, if your hair does not last in a straightened state within the week, you're going to end up putting more heat on your hair to help it to lay down. So it's just better to use maybe a little bit of a higher heat setting just to make sure that your hair will stay straight. All right, next you want to make sure that you get a really good heat protectant. I personally do love the Chi Iron Guard heat protectant, and I hear that you're supposed to spray each section of your hair with the heat protectant, which is what my stylist used to do when I was back getting my hair professionally heat trained. But I'm not sure if that only works with certain heat protectants, because I don't like to hear that sizzle when I'm flat ironing my hair. So sometimes that can actually cause damage. Maybe if your hair is too wet from the heat protectant. So I don't know if you guys know the answer to the question, because I ain't got the answer this way. Leave it in the comments. Okay, so if you're blow drying your hair, something that I recommend is that you always keep the blow dryer aimed downwards. So we'll pretend like this is the
What is you doing back there, baby? All over the place.
Always keep the blow dryer aimed downwards so that when you're blow drying your hair, it is keeping the cuticle closed and it not constantly using the blow dryer up and down and up and down. No, always keep it down and brush. Another thing that you must do in order to keep your hair from breaking is to always deep condition on wash day. And with deep conditioning, you should combine it with heat, with indirect heat. So if you have a hooded dryer, that's amazing. If you don't, something you can do is get a towel, wet it, and then heat it up in the microwave. And then once you have your deep conditioner on and a plastic cap, you wrap that hot towel around your head and keep it on there for at least 20 minutes or so. Sometimes I will sleep with the deep conditioner in my head overnight. I hear you're not supposed to do that, but last, you should take breaks from heat. And if you can do a protective style from sew-ins, wigs, braids, sew-ins are my personal fave, do it. In the summertime, it's just easy to take a complete break from the heat, so you don't have to be bothered with trying to keep restraightening your hair and stuff like that. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If I've left anything out or if you have any tips you want to share, leave them in the comment section below, because like I said, I ain't sway. I ain't got the answers. To the next video. Ciao.
Reebok zone, I just do